Good afternoon, everybody. It's so nice to be back. I'm feeling a bit better than I was. Yeah, my gosh, not nice. I was just feeling so. I mean, I'm not perfect now. I've still got a cold. Still feel tired. But excuse me. I think I'm coming out the other side. I'm over the worst of it, I think. Having lots going on didn't help. Long journeys. I had the journey down to Croydon. It was lots of driving that day. That wiped me out. I think that's what then led to last week. Was it last week? Yeah, last week being a total wipeout, really. And then on Friday, I was driving. Knew I was driving down to Portsmouth, Bognor Regis, that area. Knew it was going to be a long drive, so I just wanted to rest. I wasn't feeling 100%, so I was like, right, I just need to take some time, rest before I drive all the way down there. But I did, and I had a fabulous time. It was an amazing event. Thoroughly enjoyed it. We'll definitely be doing it again. So, yeah, you can go and check out Emma Goddard, Coastal Crafter. It was her event. I went to her winter retreat. It was fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So, yeah. Emma does ask that we don't share what we make because they're exclusive for the winter retreat. But any that I remake, I can share with you. So I shall be remaking those in my own version. I'm hoping next week. Yeah, hoping to have those out for you next week. Let's see how the weekend goes. Might have another long journey again this weekend. The car we're purchasing, it might all happen on Sunday. So that means another journey down to Croydon. So that's my Sunday gone. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I'll feel okay. I've got tomorrow and Saturday to get some crafting done. And yeah, get those created for you. Right. It's an extremely hot cup of tea, but it's very nice and much needed. What we got going on at the moment, as I've mentioned before, for the whole of October, we have our best ever joining offer. That's out there. £95 worth of products for free. So if that's something you'd like to know more about, let me know. Also, for yesterday, today, and tomorrow, I believe, free shipping. You get free shipping with start kit anyway. So if you're thinking of buying a start kit, you get free shipping that anyway. But on any orders over, I believe it's £60, you'll save yourself £6.95 on shipping. So that's always an added bonus, isn't it? £6.95. It's another reel of ribbon or some embellishments, you know. But yeah, I mean, I don't think our shipping's bad. The cost, £6.95. If you just want something small, then obviously it does bump up the price. But you think that you can have a parcel this big full and it's still only £6.95 shipping, I don't think that's too bad. But yeah, it's free shipping over £60. Right, I think that is everything that's happening at the moment that I've got going on. Like I say, might be another trip to Croydon, but we're waiting to see. So this week I've been sharing with you the Keeping Traditions Workshop kit. I love our scrapbooking workshop kits. They're fantastic. I love creating them. I love using them. and you do get a lot of products left over. So I have already created one card using some of my leftovers, but let's switch cameras and let's have a look. Yes, Evangeline, I know you're there. What? I'm not. What have you done? Oh, the cat's parrot. Evangeline has claimed the cat's parrot. That's what's left of it. There you go. Right. So yeah, hi Vic. How are you? Hope you're well. The Keeping Traditions Scrapbooking Workshop kit. It creates 6 pages, 3 double spreads. I've shared 2 of them this week already, and the third one will come out. I think it's Sunday. That one's scheduled to come out. But directions are fantastic. They tell you how to cut each piece of paper, whether it's front or back that you're using. Each one labelled, and then you get a good photo of what it's meant to look like, and then it's telling you each piece and how far away from an edge it is, so you can get placement. But then you get left with all this. They're just my photo placements that I didn't use. I use them to take the photos and then I take them off. So I have all these bits of DSP left. We've got stripes and spots, flowers, the secret sea design, old olive. We've got some two-tone cardstock left as well. I've got some more of this. It's lovely. We've got near enough a whole sheet of cherry cobbler two-tone, and we get a few little stickers left. Not many stickers, but you don't expect to get many stickers left, do you? So we've got that. So I thought today we will create using leftovers. Like I say, I've already created one card. That's going to be coming out tomorrow on the Insta Hop. So keep a lookout for that. 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. That will come out. And there'll be lots and lots of fantastic projects for that from all around the globe, actually. There's people in that from everywhere. Right, so I brought in, because the Keeping Traditions kit coordinates with the Christmas greenery bundle, the traditional labels, and then I have got the Keeping Traditions stamp set as well. So I thought, got lots to use there. And for my first card, I wanted to use this stamp here. And I thought, right, I can just put that onto a piece of card with a piece of DSP or a background. But I was like, no, let's make it a bit fancier. So I thought we'll just keep it simple, but we'll do a gatefold. Haven't done a gatefold card for a while. I do like gatefold cards. And because we're photopolymer, we want our piercing mat. Right, let's grab a block for that. We'll get the infill ones in a moment. Right, so I just want a piece of basic white. This is actually white willow, which is fine for stamping on as well. And I'm going to stamp this in. I'm going to use Secret Sea because it's Secret Sea in the papers. I'm going to stamp it in the Secret Sea. And I will be die cutting this out, so we're okay on that. It's gorgeous. I love these images. I think they're really pretty. Quite loose, which makes it easier. Alright, then we've got this little stamp in here that infills the flowers on here and here, and that one, and that's poinsettia for in there. And then we've got the leaves, the bits of like fern, and the bow. So I'm going to grab that little stamp and grab a little block. And then we want a little greenery and grab another little block. I'm not going to have enough little blocks for this. And the fern, I'll have to slightly go up a size. And then the bow. And that might go on the same size. There we go. Okay. I'm going to stamp these in the colours that we want. And my bow, I want in cherry cobbler. Nice, deep red bow. Love red bows at Christmas. Now, I haven't used most of these stamps. So the way I prime my stamps is I give them a rub over on the back of my hand. And clean it off, and that's just to get rid of any residue that's left on from the factory. I'm just going to bring in a scrap of paper just to make sure it's nice and clean, and I will stamp it a couple of times. Beautiful, love it. All right, so let's go in. Excuse my head if you end up with my head in shot, I'm sorry. I need to get right over. Look at that gorgeous deep red bow. I don't use a lot of cherry cobbler throughout the year. I tend to go for real red more, but at Christmas I just think it comes into its own. Right, then my flowers I'm going to do real red but stamped off. So we get a nice pale. I just like the way the real red stamped off looks. It's a bit less bright, just gives a softer tone. You could do these pink. In the papers they're pink, which also looks beautiful, but I just want to keep it for the red. Alright, then we're going to go for our greens, which I'm going to use Old Olive and a little bit of Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to do my leaves, prime my stamp. Doesn't need much in Old Olive. I think I'm going to do those stamped off as well. Line that up. And the way these are, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're stamping within the image. I think they're quite loose and they're very forgiving. But yeah, see, my top one isn't exactly in, but that's okay. It looks fine. That's leaves, and then we're going to go for our ferny piney bit, which I'm going to do in the Mossy Meadow, I think. Or shall I just do stray? No, I'm not. I'm going to do it just full strength Old Olive on this. Yeah, that's plenty dark enough. I didn't want it to go too dark. That's the problem. Look at that. Yeah, glad I made that choice. So, who started their Christmas crafting? I know we haven't got over Halloween yet, and I get a bit, it's not Halloween, it's not bonfire night, but we need to start our Christmas crafting. And Christmas crafting's fun. I think it's the one time a year where you can throw everything at it and it's acceptable. Right, so we've got that, and I'm going to die cut that out using the die, which is in here. There's some beautiful dies in this. I've used the holly on, what did I use the holly for? Oh, I did a tutorial using this, which will be coming out next month. For our tutorial bundle, which you can get that free with any purchase from my Stampin' Up online shop. And there's 8 tutorials that follow a theme. And next month it's Sparkle, I believe. So that will be coming out. So I've used the holly for that. But yeah, some gorgeous dies, just standalone dies, which is always nice to have so that you can mix things up with other dies and stamps that you've got. There we go. So we've got our little bouquet for the front, and then I think I'm going to go see what it'd look like on gold. Now I know I've got in here somewhere some gold foil, and I've already got a gold panel die cut. I don't know if that is just a little bit too much gold, but we'll see. We'll use it for now because we can always change our minds. And then I'm going to make a card base, and I'm going to do Secret Sea card base. So it's Christmassy, but with a bit of a twist. So let's grab a piece of Secret Sea, and I'm going to chop that in half at 14.9, 14.8 and a half, thereabouts. And then I'm going to score at 5.25. 1, 2, and a bit. And again this way. 1, 2, and a bit. The light shines right where I need it to be to see. All right, now we can fold these over. And this should be correct. I really should have run through first before I started. Yeah, that's correct. It folds. There we go. So we've got a gatefold card base, and then that will go on there. It's a real simple card, and I think I want to use some of this flowered paper. I'm just gonna, yeah, I'll use the flowered, I think, on here. I think that'll look pretty on there. So let's cut this. So our card base is 14.9. So I'm going to do this at 14.4, just so it gives us that little bit of a gap. Half a centimetre difference, and then that's 5.25. So I'm going to go to 4.75 for the width. 4.75 there. There we go. Gorgeous. I'll just give us a little border all the way around so we can glue those on. So what's everybody been up to? Has you been crafting? Has life got in the way of your crafting? Have we been having family time? I always used to find that this time of year, when Hayden was younger, was quite busy with Halloween and schools having things going on, and there's like Halloween parties and getting ready for different things happening. But yeah, it was always a busy time of year. But it doesn't stop when they go to uni, because Hayden's just informed me he wants to lift home on Friday evening, Friday night, because uni they're having a Halloween party tomorrow night. So he wants to bring him out so he hasn't got to catch the bus at silly o'clock. Right, I like that, and it's very simple. And then it'll open out and we'll do some stamping on the inside on our inner. So let's bring in our inner piece, which we have one pre-cut. And then for this, what can we stamp in here? What have we got? I'm wondering whether, because that's too big, it'll go off. But we could have a nice Merry Christmas on the inside, and then just do some little flowers up. In fact, I know what I'm going to do. Let's do our Merry Christmas. Let's get me a block. I can get those close enough. No, they're going to be separate. To make sure I can get them where I want them. And I'm going to go for real red. Okay, so it's nice and bright. And I will bring in, just to check. Yeah, beautiful. I'm going to stamp my Christmas in the middle. Yeah, I think it needs to go at a slight slant, doesn't it? The way it's looking to me. Look at that for a beautiful stamp. I do get excited at how a stamp stamps. We'll have that there. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this separate, and then I'm going to fussy cut it so that it fits what I want. I think it's a lot on the inside, isn't it? I'm going to do that on another card. Right, so I'm just going to grab some of these little stamps and stamp on. So these ones that looks a little bit more like a poinsettia, I'm going to do in cherry cobbler. I'll pick that up on there, and then let's grab that. Look at that. Gorgeous. Nice deep cherry coat. Looks almost black on screen if you're seeing what I'm seeing. But it won't be. Right. Old olive. We'll add in some leaves. Some nice foliage. Just going over the top. Not worried That's all. Turn it round just to fill in. Okay, and then we'll bring in our fern. We'll just add some of our fern in, like so. That just fills it without it being solid. It looks quite dark, like I say, on there, but it's not so dark in real life. I love that. Right. Seem to have come in on myself for some reason. There we go, that's better. A little bit of room. Card base. Let's stick this in. And don't forget, I will be back this evening doing another scrapbook page using the same products. Okay, I love that. And then I'm thinking, if that's on there, and I'm wondering, like some ribbon, everything's falling here. Nothing's been put back correctly. I could have some ribbon, which I would cut there, don't worry, but just so that it looks like it goes all the way through, and then have a bow on there. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to tape that on there. Bit of double-sided tape, more or less in the middle. That looks central to me. And then, actually, that'll be the side that you see open. Need to rethink this. I need that to be the end. That's okay. I can, yeah, we'll do it. I will put it so it's slightly bigger than what I want, then I can work out what to do with the end. Should have put it under the paper, but that's okay. Right, and then we'll put a piece on here as well. It's all about having the idea sometimes and working out how it's going to work. Because I know how I want it to look. At least it does help if you take the backing off the tape so it'll stick. And then we can line that up with that. There we go. You can chop that like so. And then we've got, so I might make it that it does just have a piece. We'll see. And then I'm not sure on that gold if it's just too much. I know what I can do actually. Yeah, we're good. So I want dimensionals down there, keeping it on the one side because we only want it to stick on that one side. I'll use our edges because we don't want to waste. They will do exactly the same job as the middles. Right. So yeah, as I say, hopefully we'll be getting a new car. Hi Carol, hope you're well. Yeah, hopefully we'll be fetching, well, we won't actually be fetching, we're having the car transported back, because the weather's turned. We're not going to drive it all that way, and then we can have that on dimensionals too. A lot of dimensionals today because that's the way I'm feeling. This won't be a card that goes in the post, obviously, with double layers, because the postal costs have gone ridiculous. I honestly think Royal Mail are kind of thinking, you know, let's sort of make it so expensive people don't want to send letters at least anymore. It'll all be done on email. All right, and then we have got in our dies some gorgeous little, well, I say little, they're big, these foliage. And I was thinking of having some foliage behind it just to cover some of that gold. You're all good. Hope, oh, Carol, it's a much better week, thank you. I said, I'm not 100% still. I feel a lot better with myself. Yeah, a lot better there. Still got a cold. Still tired. Excuse me. But yeah, I feel so much better. Now, something I used yesterday was I used these tags, and when I was cutting them out, these little firm bits fall out, and I actually ended up using them on a card, which is why I ended up with so many extra tags, but they will all get used. And I was like, you know what? I can use some of those on here. So I'm sort of thinking we can have some lovely extra greenery coming out of here. I think I will cut a few more. But how good is that? Do I want to go mossy meadow? Actually, that looks quite nice against, yeah. So I'm going to cut another mossy meadow of those. Thank you, Carol. Let's grab a scrap of mossy meadow. Here we go. And we'll cut one of those out. Yeah, I was saying earlier, Carol, that I think because I was unwell, I was fighting it quite well. But then because of all I'd got going on, it just took over and I couldn't fight it no more. My body had enough. But yeah, with taking time. What's that? Just I need to put back in the drawer. Okay. Taking time out has really helped. I had a fabulous day with Emma and everyone at Emma's retreat. That was lovely. So yeah, took some me time. And yeah, feeling so much better, so much better. Right, so that's everything out of there. Maybe get those rest out. Okay, and then if we push all these out, like I say, these tags will be used. I'll use them for something at some point. I've got a few of those now, and then there's some that you could use if you wanted to hide behind, like coming, not for this project, but they're slightly cut off. But then you end up with, not that one, that two of the larger full and two smaller full. And then you get some little tiny end bits. One there that's cut off, that one cut off, and that one slightly. But I mean, you could cut that round and use it. But yeah. Right, so I'm going to glue them on and then add those. I wonder actually if the smaller one better there. No, because we've got two similar. Ho ho ho. Take it back where it was. Silly woman. Right. And I'm going to add them with glue to the top, because I don't want to get glue all over the gold, because it's so hard to get it off when it's marked. So add glue to the top and then it'll stick when I press it down to that, and then it'll be slightly lifted, which is good. That one I will slightly lift, just to, I've got a little bit on there, but that's okay. We can cope with a bit. Lift that. Push that under. A bit more there. It's gone back where it wants to go anyway. I try and push it one way and it goes the other, but that's fine. Okay. And then that one just in there. Right, and then we'll add a couple of little darker ones. And I am going to put this on the back this time, because I want it over the top of that. Like that green one there. Put that on the front because I've got to scoot it in. I don't want it all over the gold. Just making sure that it's not symmetrical really, but that it still keeps its shape. And then this final one, put on the front again, in there. That's better. I think that looks a lot better. I'm working a lot over here, aren't I? My camera's in a different place. I'm not sure I'm liking it. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. It just fills it up that little bit more. Right, we'll save those. I think that's why I'm feeling a bit enclosed with everything. Right. And then we've got our Merry Christmas. What to do with that? I'll sort that out in a bit. And I'm going to see what it'll look like with a bow there. It might be that it's too much. Yeah. Not quite sure how well this red ties. It's quite a stiff ribbon. Might just be too much with having that as a bow as well. I don't know. I quite like it. Why not? I do like it. I'm going to go for it. It's Christmas. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I'm feeling all in today. I don't like, yeah, all or nothing today. I have a couple of glue dots for the ribbon. Which can go there. And then I want to put some Wink Stella on our bow. Just to make that shine a little. And then I am going to put a little bit towards the middle of the flowers. Just to give those a little bit of a bling. Right. This I am going to see. How close did I do that? Oh. Good thing about not putting glue right up to the edge of your paper. You can then tuck things in. Come on. Give me... Oh, glue dot might be too thick. I want a tiny piece of double-sided tape because it's thinner. Stick that to there. Pull that off. Pick it up. Add it on there. Pull that out. And it's got it. Snip that little bit off. See, there's always a way. Always a way. Perhaps not the best way, but it's a way. She says, and then it all comes out. Oh dear. Come on. Get in. Get under. Half a glue dot. Half a glue dot there. And I'll have half a glue dot there. That's it. And we've managed to tuck it under so it's nice and neat. And there we go. We can add some bling because, you know, like I say, it's Christmas and we can never have enough. I don't think I want the glitter of the ones that come with the coordinating suite, but I have got some of these stars. What colour are those? Oh, clear. No, I think I'll go for the red. Stars don't quite look right, do they? I've got some cherry cobbler from the natural. I don't know, it might end up being the glitter. Let's just see. Red looks like. If we pop them behind somewhat. Yeah, so they're almost like a bauble. There we go. I'm not going to put sentiment on this one. I'm just going to have it with the Merry Christmas inside. Yeah, it's quite sweet. Simple, easy fold. Just a gatefold. But yeah, I'm happy with how that turned out. I'm using up leftovers. There's the papers leftovers from the kit. Thank you, Carol. Yeah, the papers are left over from the workshop kit. These sprigs were mainly leftovers from something else that I cut. So yeah, and this gold panel was a leftover that I pre-cut. I'm quite happy with that. Right, now we'll just do a real quick card. And I think we'll use some of the other paper that we've got. Quite fancy. A bit of stripes. I like stripes. So I'm going to go green on green for this one. We'll do a background. So I'm going to do a horizontal card. So I'm going to cut this at 14.9. That would be the same as a card. So it's landscape. And this is what, 7.5 centimetres. Thereabouts. It is now just a tiny slither off there. And then I'm going to pop this on a cherry cobbler. I was going to do it on green, weren't I? Green on green on green. No, I think we'll use this two-tone cherry cobbler. See if I've got any actually cut rather than using... No, I haven't got no scraps of that. But I love this cherry cobbler two-tone because it's got sheen to it. It's obviously something in the process that makes it do that. So I'm going to cut that to 10. And this is left over as well. 14.9. I'll have that. I like that. That looks good. And then it's not quite big enough because I'd have put a piece of that. Like I say, I'm using leftovers, so I'm trying. Is that big enough? That is. So we'll just have a 1.5 centimetre piece of that, like so. And then we've got our sentiment, which I'm going to use because I love this. I think this is so nice. The banner. I mean, all these dies are nice. They cut out some lovely pretty. Actually, that'd be quite nice, wouldn't it, on there? Or that one. More rounded. Yeah, that might look a little lost. Actually. Oh, actually, I could do that. Let's do that. Had an idea. Well, let's glue these. I'm definite on this. Oh, excuse me. Come on, glue. I think I need to keep it upside down in my pot now. It's got to that point. I'll pop that in the middle of there. You know, when you're doing middles, do you do them by eye or... That's not long enough. I used the wrong piece. Slightly off. No, I'll have a tiny bit either side. Do you do them by eye or do you measure? I'm very much a by eye. It's very rare I measure when I'm placing. Obviously I do when I'm cutting, but when I'm placing things, I want that way. That flower's going that way, but you probably won't even see it when I've done what I'm going to do, but that's the way I want it. Right, scrap of white, which we will die cut this out of, and I want the Season's Greetings. Now it fits one way, not t'other. So that'll be the right Season's Greetings or Sending Love and Joy. I'll go Sending Love and Joy for a change. Right, and I am going to heat emboss this in gold. I like heat embossing at the moment by eye. Yeah, I do know there are some people that do like to measure, but yeah, I'm a by eye. Big lover of by eye. Oh, excuse me. Gosh, I'm going to start coughing now, aren't I? Right. Let's just pop that on there. Give me some room. I definitely don't want my camera where I've got it again. Right. Sprinkle on that. Oh, we have some sun. We've got black clouds and a bit of sun. It's definitely been autumn of late. Even for the fact of how cold it's been. I had my heating on the other day and we had a fire going last night. Right, do this. There's nothing better than lighting a wood fire, coal fire. It's cold outside. I like it when it's frosty or snowy outside. Hi Michelle, how are you? Hope you're well. Yeah, I like it when it's cold and frosty outside. And got the log burner going. And I like to keep the curtains open so that I can see and see how cold it is outside. Right, just get some tape. Hold this into place. Like so. That looks about right. Because this is one of those that you really don't want it to move. Dear, dear. I mean, this washi tape is very old. Cheap, nasty stuff, so it just tears. It's very rare I get to use it more than once. And that's okay. It's using up what I've got. I love that. Isn't that beautiful? And then I want some greenery behind it. So the dies, wherever I've put them, there, they've gone to the back. Yes, I'm much better, thank you. I want some holly leaves, some holly berries, and then I'm going to have some of these. Right, so we're going to do a bit of die cutting, so I will bring it in while I'm doing quite a bit. And these large, I want a couple of those in old olive. I'm going to have to use and cut down. I could get the larger machine out, but I'm really being lazy. So I'll just use this one. It is lovely, isn't it, Carol? It's just, yeah. Stampin' Up make it so easy to make beautiful cards. The designers do fantastic with all the products. A couple of those, and then I want some holly leaves. I'm going to go mossy meadow for my holly leaves. I usually do holly leaves in shaded spruce, but I don't want to bring in that bluey green, so we'll have them in mossy meadow, which I think contrasts really well with old olive because it's on the same tone. I've got those, and then we want our berries, and I usually do cherry cobbler, but I might do real red for this lot. I did real red last time, which is the card you will see next month. Right, so we've got our bits that we need. So we've got our 3 berries. Get rid of those. I'll put my die on there, out the way. Got our holly leaves. I'll pop our dies on that. That's rubbish. We've got our 2 pieces of greenery and lots of rubbish. Right. Now what I want to do, bring in scrap. I'm just going to add a bit of ink to these just to give a bit of dimension. I think that it's got shaded spruce on it. So let's grab a dauber. Old olive and mossy meadow. I've got one for. Right. Old olive, mossy meadow. That's just so it adds a little bit of extra interest to them. I don't do it perfectly, I just go over, and what it touches, especially on the mossy meadow because it's very dark anyway. And then old olive. any more ink on. And then do the same on this one. Oh gosh, excuse me. Again, not quite so much on this one because we don't want them the same. Right, just gives them extra depth and dimension rather than being flat. So I'm thinking a couple of those behind there, like so, and then we can have a holly that way. With our berries. Yeah, that will do it for me. Right, I can stick those on. Tape. I'm just going to stick those down with some tape there, which will hold them. Then we'll have dimensionals on here. Oh dear. Why is it you feel great and then all of a sudden, whoa, your nose starts, your throat starts, and all you want to do is go curl up on the sofa. Oh dear. Right. I can pop that on there. That's about central. Okay, then we'll have these. Give these a bit of shape. Not that way. Glue dot. Easiest way to put these together. And then we'll glue dot them in. There. Glue dot these. The only thing I can say about these is that it looks better because they've got holes where the light's supposed to be, like catching them. I've got green fingers. Is if that hole's pointing in the same direction on all of them, so that it's catching the light from the same area, which it would. And that one I'm going to tuck under. Final one. Dear. There. Fab. Right, so we'll have a card base of, I think I'm going to go Mossy Meadow for my card base. Oh dear, 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 dear. Right, so full sheet, scored at 10.5, and then trimmed down at 14.9. Excuse me. There we go. I've done it that. I don't usually do. I'm not going to because I don't like pen folds that way. Of course, they spread. So we'll score at 14.9 this way. if you put them up on your mantelpiece or on the side, wherever, they spread over time, don't they? You know what I mean? Like you have them standing like that, but then they go, eh. I don't like that, so I like to do my landscape this way. So they open like that. I find that so much better. Yes, I like the mossy meadow. And it brings in the mossy meadow for the holly leaves. Okay, so I'll just pop that on there. It needs to come up a tiny bit. There we go. I can trim that off after. It's slightly over. Right, some bling. Let's see what we've got in here. I don't want those. I think we need to go gold. And I'm thinking I've got some druzy gems left over. Yeah, definitely it needs those. Needs something that's really glittery, bright. No, up there, down there. Ooh. Now that balances against that. Yeah, we're going down there. There we go. So that's those. Oops, gosh. Getting dropsies now. Put those back in the bag. Pop those back in there, out the way. So we just need an inside doing. And for this one, you know, that was the actual piece I cut. I'll just stick a piece of paper in to coordinate it. It's a good way of using up your scraps of little paper that you've got. Just adding interest and following it through. Stick that in. And there we go. We've done 2 cards. There's my first. Very different, but using mainly leftovers from the Keeping Traditions Workshop kit. Yeah, I'm really pleased with those. And I'm glad how that turned out, that tucked under there. So it looks like a parcel wrapped, but it opens up. So yeah, very happy with those. Oh, let me just grab those. Right, I'll turn the camera around. Excellent. Right, well, thank you very much for joining. I do hope I've inspired you to do some Christmas crafting. Use up those leftovers. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Yeah, I'm very pleased with them. And like I said, I think Christmas crafting, it's a lot more forgiving. You can just throw things at it, and especially if you keep it traditional Christmas, I find you can just put it all together, and yeah, and you can throw as much bling at it as you want as well. So yeah, I enjoyed that. It's nice to be back. Nice to be creating again. I have missed it. I think I went more or less a week, give or take a day or two, without sitting at my desk. I'd be on the set and I'd like, oh, I'm going to go and have a play. And then I was like, you know what? Got no inspiration, no inkling to want to do anything. So yeah, but it happens to us all, and that's life, isn't it? We get through it. So yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining. Hope to see you this evening if you're about, or if not, we'll see you all next week. Thanks again. Bye.